What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I wanted to talk about Robert Saleh and comparing him to Dan Campbell. And you might be asking, well, why are you making that comparison? And it's a fair question, but I do think that a comparison is appropriate for a few reasons. Number one, both guys were hired during the same cycle. And number two, both kind of have that same mantra. At least that's what it was when they were hired. So I will fully admit, when Dan Campbell was first hired and talking about biting off the kneecaps and all things like that, I was a little bit scratching my head and going, okay, I don't know if I buy this. This might be a little bit over the top, but there's no denying how much he loves his players, how much his guys love playing for him, and that he is without a doubt a player's coach. And then you had Robert Saleh, who had the all gas, no break mantra, which he talked about at his opening presser.
We're going to do this thing together. To our organization, get used to the mantra, all gas, no break. When we talk about all gas, no break, we're not talking about effort on the field. We're talking about the process at which we do things. We're talking about the way we prepare, the way we wake up every single morning, the way we rehab, the way we communicate, the way we speak to one another. Cannot tell you enough about how excited I am to work with this entire Jets organization and understanding that when we wake up in the morning, we will all, from top down, step on the pedal and find a way to get somewhat better than we were when we woke up.
All gas, no break is something that Robert Saleh has tried to hit home for 3 years. 3 years. All gas, meaning you're going 100 miles an hour all the time, aggressive, fast. And to his credit, on the defensive side of the ball, the Jets do play that way. They are an aggressive unit. They don't blitz, but there's ways that you could be aggressive without blitzing. For example, how their linebackers fly all over the field, and the defensive line pretty much just being a pin your ears back and go defensive line. It's an aggressive unit. I don't think anyone would deny that Robert Saleh's defense, isn't aggressive. It is an aggressive one. That's just about where it ends, though. And here's Dan Campbell's speech after the game and how he's talking.
We play next Sunday back here at home, guys. So look, we got the winner of Tampa and Philly, which is tomorrow. We'll be here at 3 o'clock back at Ford Field because you guys earned it. Dude, how electric was it out there? I'm telling you what, it doesn't get any better. It's everything you dream of and then more.
Now, Dan Campbell acts and coaches like an all gas, no break mantra guy. Robert Saleh, I'm glad that he said that, and I'm glad his defense plays that way, but the rest of his team, he doesn't coach that way on the offensive side of the ball. He doesn't coach that way in just any other philosophy at all. Here's a perfect example from last night's game. Where the Lions had an opportunity to end this game. They're up 24-23. They have the ball. It's just the 2-minute warning. The Rams have one more timeout left, and it's 2nd and 9. So you could run the ball, have them take their last timeout, run it one more time, milk the clock, punt it away. Instead, Dan Campbell trusts his quarterback to go out there and to make a play. And that they are coached aggressively, and they go out and they throw on 2nd and 9 because they want to pick up the first down to end the game. A first down ends the game. And they do just that. They complete an 11-yard pass. Rams take a timeout. The Lions kneel down a couple of times, and the game's over. That is a perfect example of coaching with an all-gas, no-break mentality. And Dan Campbell is one of the more aggressive coaches in the league when it goes in terms of, going forward on 4th down. And Robert Saleh is on the polar opposite end of the spectrum. He is one of the most conservative coaches when you just talk about in general, whether it's going forward on 4th down or settling for field goals instead of going forward on 4th down. Whatever topic you want to talk about when especially on the offensive side of the ball, Robert Saleh is just so conservative. And to me, it's just ironic that Dan Campbell better personifies Robert Saleh's own mantra of all gas, no break. You can say that, but then you have to go out there and do that. And to me, again, Dan Campbell does a better job of personifying that mantra than Robert Saleh does with how he coaches, by how he holds himself on the sideline, and how he talks with the team. Robert Saleh isn't that way. He is definitely a player's coach. Guys love playing for him. There's no denying that. And he has shown energy on the sideline when things are going right. But when things go wrong, he becomes stoic and doesn't show much emotion at all. And, unfortunately, he's the face. So after every game and every loss and 3 times throughout the week, he has to go up there and face the media, and Joe Douglas gets a pass. So I do think, and I said this year, I think Robert Saleh has kind of taken a lot of the brunt of the blame for the 2023 New York Jets, where Joe Douglas deserves a lot of that criticism as well and doesn't get it nearly as much because we don't see him as frequently as you see Robert Saleh. But a legit criticism and a legit gripe I have with Robert Saleh is his lack of aggressiveness, and it just could not be any more clear that you have someone like a Dan Campbell who is actually all gas, no brake. Both came in at the same time, both to losing franchises, both struggled in 2021. 2022 was kind of a polar opposite season for both teams. The Jets started hot, went ice cold down the stretch. The Lions started slow, got hot at the end, just missed the playoffs. They went 9-8 and missed the playoffs. They beat the Green Bay Packers in the last week of the year. They come back this year. They win the NFC North. They host their first home playoff game in like 30 years. They have their first playoff win in over 30 years. And, the Jets are still figuring out, twiddling their thumbs, trying to figure out a way to get into the playoffs. A great tweet from NYJ Matt, who's talked about the bottom 5 teams in the league in 2021. And 4 of the 5 teams have not only made the playoffs since that, over the last 2 years, they've also won playoff games. So, enough of the excuses. I don't care how many injuries there are in 2024. I don't care what kind of circumstances there are in 2024. This is a league that is built on parity. Figure it out. Make the playoffs. But yes, Dan Campbell is a better personification of all gas, no brake than Robert Saleh is. Let me know your thoughts on the subject down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.